Greetings and welcome to Fallen Enchantress Legendary Heroes, a game by Stardock Entertainment put out in 2013 as part of their Elemental series. It is a fantasy turn-based strategy game with simultaneous turns. All players, even computer-controlled ones, act simultaneously. After everybody has clicked in turn, then the world itself with the random monsters will take actions. It has campaigns you can run, solo campaigns, a tutorial, but of course the highlight of the game for me is the sandbox mode. There are 10 default empires default factions divided evenly among kingdoms and empires. Kingdoms, the kingdoms of men, are the good guys. They have access to life magic, and their territory makes the terrain more vibrant and alive. The empires are called the Fallen, and they have access to death magic. Their borders make things look more withered and more like a wasteland. I'm going to be playing the Kingdom of Alter. The people of Alter belong to no one race, no one creed. Miners and scholars alike stand in their councils. Peasants and soldiers stand shoulder to shoulder in their armies. All value accomplishment, not pedigree. They led the so-called Nobles' Revolt against Queen Persephone of New Peridon, in the name of the one overriding cause they have in common: freedom. Freedom for themselves and all of Elemental. Now, Queen Persephone is also one of the default empires with Peridon. The leader of Alter is Lord Relias. He is an adventurer, so he gets more fame from completing quests. So there are quests generated at the start of the game, and completing them earns you fame normally anyway, and experience, and usually some sort of treasure. Items or Gildar or combination of the two. Adventurers, the background chosen for Lord Relias, earns more fame. Now fame, as you gain fame, you reach milestones that will attract other champions to your cause. That is how you get other powerful heroes like your sovereign. The Altarans all have Altarian blood that gives them faster experience gain and the ability to do a rush. It says unit takes an extra action. That's not quite the way. Anytime you are granted an extra action, it actually takes away your next turn. So it's not a free extra action. It's just you get your next turn now kind of deal. And I'll demonstrate that when we get into combat. He is an Air Disciple, which is the second tier of air magic, and a Fire Apprentice. He has Discipline, which gives him more accuracy and spell resistance per level. By default, I believe you gain spell resistance, spell mastery, accuracy, and hit points every level. So this just adds to what I would be gaining on the levels. It doesn't mean that's all I gain. Alter has the ability to train henchmen when they get the Heroes technology. Henchmen are kind of like champions you can make on your own through just training them. And that makes the Kingdom of Alter one of the more powerful ones, because the champion classes, along with henchmen, are very powerful units. So they have access to some of the best units in the game the way they level up. And with other abilities they have, such as Wanderlust, that unlocks quest maps, Athican Leather Armor, the Fending Blade, and the Athican Longsword. The quest maps spawn new quests. And Heroic, completing a quest, provides double the normal experience. So with my ability to pretty much keep generating quests and completing them, all of the heroes, the champions, the henchmen, and my sovereign can gain levels and Gildar like crazy in this game and be an extremely powerful faction. It does take a while to get the ball rolling, though. The Athican Leather Armor, the Athican Longsword, and the Fending Blade are improved versions of things already in the game. You do not start with access to this unique equipment. You get them when you would get the regular equipment. I don't remember which tech gives quest maps. I'll have to find out. But we're going to jump in here. They do have some pre-designed maps that are fixed maps. I prefer random maps. I like the huge world size, and I like my map to be balanced. The wildlands to also be balanced. Actually, where is... Can I... Yeah, let's do mini wildlands. Will take up space on the map. Production pace, I like to do very fast. So improvements in unit training take half as long to complete. This is a feature I wish Civilization had, where your production pace and your research pace can be set independently. So you can have a game with slower research but faster unit production and construction. I want my quest frequency to be balanced, the world difficulty to be normal, monster frequency to be moderate, world inhabited by the standard amount of random monsters. I could make it dense. That would make the world more challenging. But the world is fairly challenging on moderate, believe me. The world difficulty on normal, the world itself is still a bigger challenge than the other factions. I have the pacing set to epic. That slows the technology progression. It's still not that slow. It will go by at a pace that I kind of like this way, especially once I start adding more cities. Magic strength, the shards, I have them set to moderate. Same thing for resources. And random events are set to default. I'm using the other 9 pre-designed factions as opponents. You can customize your opponents, so if you wanted to create your own factions, you can, and you can use them as your opponents in a game. My opponent's intelligence is challenging, so they have no bonuses, and they use the best algorithms they could come up with. Now, games like this are fairly complex. I believe this game is a lot more complex than Civilization, some of the features involved in it. And the more complex a game, the more difficult it is to program a computer-controlled opponent for it. So even at this challenging level, they are not going to compare to being up against a human opponent. The actual world itself, like I said, is more of a threat than these guys. By default, there are 4 victory conditions. All but conquest can be deactivated. This one cannot be deactivated. This means you win if you are the last empire in the game. Diplomatic, you have to form an alliance with all the players in the game. So any you do not want to form an alliance with, it would be a good idea to wipe out, and then you can win a diplomatic victory. Master quest, you have to complete the Black Gate quest that is set somewhere in the game, and it is extremely difficult. It's an epic quest. Spell of Making, you have to research the Spell of Making and then control multiple shards and cast the spell. This is equivalent to the space victory. It's a science-related victory. It's equivalent to the space victory from Civilization. When you discover a technology, you get a portion of that tech's research cost as knowledge. Warfare techs provide warfare knowledge, civilization techs provide civilization knowledge, and magic techs provide magic knowledge. This knowledge can be traded to and from other players and provides free research in the category it came from to the player who receives it. So that's how they did tech trading in this game. As you research, you generate knowledge and can trade the knowledge or trade for knowledge.
You were born the pampered son of a noble. The first 24 years of your life you wasted in the city of New Peridon, drinking, gaming, whoring, running through every last bit of the fortune your parents bequeathed you, before being conscripted into the service of Queen Persephone. At her command, you journeyed east, into the lands of the fallen, where you learned firsthand the power of the channelers that rule that dark and devastated continent. You know that power will not rest until all of Elemental is subjugated to its will. The power of the West must join together to confront that evil. You are determined to lead them in that fight.
All right, so starting out, all I have is my Sovereign. He is a fairly powerful unit. He starts with a rusty short sword and access to multiple spells. The Apprentice Heir, Adept Heir, and is it Heir Adept or Heir Disciple? I'm drawing a blank on that right now. Heir Disciple. Yeah, he gets those spells, the ones from Heir Apprentice, Heir Disciple, and Fire Apprentice. Gives him quite a few spells. Excuse me. As well as Steel Spirit, and I believe Tutelage is also one that is not from those. Yeah, Heir Disciple gives the Aura of Grace, Guardian Wind. Oh no, it did give Tutelage. Evade, Haste came from Heir Apprentice. Well, there is a way to find out. Let's go to traits. Evade, Haste, and Propaganda come from Heir Apprentice. Aura of Grace, Guardian Wind, and Tutelage come from Heir Disciple. And Burning Hands and Heart of Fire came from Fire Apprentice. So the others I have, Paragon, Steel Spirit, and Meditation, I believe are just spells you get for being a Sovereign. Yes. Relias was orphaned when his clan's camp was set ablaze by wandering thieves. Finding a new home with a caring scholar, Relias focused his attention on the books that surrounded him. These stories sent his mind racing between dreams of heroism and the harsh reality of the sword. Now, as my Sovereign, I can settle, but I have to be on a tile that provides bonuses. Now, I got a little bit lucky in my start on this one. Sometimes I have been screwed over and had starts that had no essence, but these different features for where I build the city. The green is the grain available. That limits the amount of food your city can have, which will limit the maximum population, which limits how much your city can grow. The orangish brown here is materials. That affects your city's production, which affects how quickly it can build things. And I've got a case of the hiccups coming on. And the blue is essence, which is more important than the other two in my opinion. Essence limits the amount of enchantments you can place on the city. It also has effects that are related to certain buildings. Certain buildings will give more bonuses based on the essence. And if you were to build a city in a location that had no essence, it would prohibit you from being able to build one line of buildings. If we go up here to improvements and look at the Cleric. The Clerics provide healing and aid to the city's inhabitants. They reduce unrest in the city and increase your fame. It provides minus 5% unrest and plus 2 fame. There has to be at least one essence on a town for you to build a Cleric. And Clerics upgrade to shrines and eventually to the Temple of Essence. But you cannot build a Cleric or a shrine if you do not have at least one essence in your city. And that is one thing it should mention in this description and does not. Likewise, there are 2 other buildings that are kind of gated. The pier. Piers can only be built on rivers. They increase food in cities and they are constructed in. Now, by default, you have to build adjacent to a river to be able to build a pier. I'm playing with a mod that allows me to expand my city out to a river and be able to build a pier when I expand to the river. The other one is the logging camp. Logging camps provide additional production per material yield. They can only be built on forest. And again, default game, you have to be built, your city has to be adjacent to a forest for you to build a logging camp. And my mod allows you to extend your borders through that forest, or your actual city itself to the forest, to be able to build. So in this case, I would not be able to build a lumberyard in the default settings. Let me move forward one. Yeah, unless I chose that one. Do I want to build right here? Now here's the thing, when I plant a city down here, there's a minimum distance where I can build another city. So all of these other available city sites are no longer going to be available. I think I want to be here. Yes. And we're going to settle our first city. The moment has come. The moment that all your travels, all your battles, all your years of study and swordplay have led to. The founding of Ithaca, the capital of the Kingdom of Altar. Now your story, and the story of the Altar, the few who follow you now, the legions who will flock to your banners in the days and weeks to come, truly begins. So I founded my first city, and as you see, all of those other potential sites disappeared. Now there's a danger that it may take me a while to find another good location for a city, because you can only build on sites that you can see those numbers at. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these map features. This icon here is resource, what do they call it? Resource hordes? But it is basically a resource you can exploit. You'd have to build a building over it. In this case, I'd have to build a crystal quarry, crystal foundry to produce crystal. This lock symbol is a resource that I could exploit if I had a technology unlocked. This green treasure chest is loot. I can move over there and get an item. And then we'll see more icons as I expand the map. Alright, so we're going to go to these wooden crates. Crates lie beneath a handful of rotting tree limbs. They are coated by a thick layer of dust and crawling insects, who have staked a claim to whatever treasures these crates contain. Most of what the crate contains has been ruined, except for a single item. We found Tear of Syndrome. Also known as Nightmare Stones, these are actually slivers of a death shard. They grow in areas of great pain and suffering, and some are known to be harvested in the torture pits of Umber. This will give me +3 hit points whenever I kill an enemy. And I'll equip it. Now if I go to my equip tab, you have basically a right and left hand slot. Your primary hand is always going to be a weapon. And if you have a two-hander equipped, it prohibits you from getting a shield. And you have 4 accessory slots. This is an accessory. And of course you have a head slot, chest slot, gloves, boots, and pants, or leggings. But there's a bunch of equipment you can actually equip. And this sword has seen better days, my poor rusty short sword. It's interesting that it gives you the audio effect of rain and no actual visual. But one other drawback to this game, you see here is the coast. There is absolutely nothing you can do with the coast. There are some preset maps that have shipwrights on them that allow you to build a boat to transport units to islands. But there is no naval combat, there is no shipbuilding in the game by default. While that may be a little disappointing, I think the rest of the game more than makes up for it, because I really do enjoy this game. But now that we've gotten that, I think I'm going to head back over here to the shattered statue. And it's free movement to pass through my town. I only had one movement left. I could have just gone there, but because I could pass through the town for free, I could end up there. We'll have to wait a season to grab that. Now, turns are basically seasons, so there are 4 turns a year. We're starting in spring of 165 AC, which stands for After Cataclysm. Let's go ahead and enchant our city. We'll give it meditation. That gives us 1 mana per essence. And for the other spell, we will cast propaganda. That means it produces 2 Gildar per essence. I love the little casting animation my Sovereign did. Now, for the Gildar increase, my city has a Gildar bonus of 6 from the city. How much of that I get is based on my tax rate. You start with normal taxes. Your unrest rate is set by your tax rate. And your taxes provide your income, but your unrest penalizes your research and production output. Excuse me. So the higher your tax rate, the more Gildar you get, but your unrest level will increase, lowering your research and production in all your cities. Now, I like to, because I don't really need much Gildar starting out, I like to drop to no taxes right off the bat. It still gives me an unrest rate of 10%, but that means I'm getting more research and more production since I don't need the income right now. So even though I just cast a spell that adds 4 Gildar to this town, I'm actually not earning any Gildar because I'm not taxing them. Excuse me. I made the town prosperous, and I'm not taking taxes yet. I'm letting them spend more time researching and producing. Now on to one of my favorite parts of the game, which is the city building. When you go to build in a city, you basically choose where the building's going to be. And it's any of these, as you can see it zoomed in, any of these that have green highlights in them, I can place this city in. So what I said about that mod I'm using, it's called snaking. Basically, as I build, after I build here, then I can further expand my next building past it and on like that. If I allow my buildings to get next to this forest, I will be able to build a logging camp there at the forest. So that's what we're planning on doing. Now, unrest, apart from taxes, also is caused by the amount of cities you have and whether or not that city can get has no interruption in the borders of that city to the capital. This zone of influence, these red outline here, if I have another city way over here, until red outlines are able to connect the two, it's got a further penalty. So I'm going to build this Cleric because it gives 2 fame and reduces the unrest by 5%. Now, as you see, this unrest is showing 8% in green. That was because I had that selected. Any building you choose that will give you a bonus, it will highlight the bonus in green. If it's a penalty, it'll highlight it in red. So the Cleric will reduce the unrest of this city to 8%. And we're going to put the Cleric right here next to the crystal mines. And after we are done with that, now one thing, right now it automatically selects something on this page. So it's selecting the merchant next, and you see no matter where my mouse cursor is, it's trying to place it. So if you click somewhere like you're trying to do something else, it's going to try and auto-build whatever you've got selected on this screen. But it's not costing you any resources. This is just an annoyance. So I can cancel that, and no bad has happened apart from it's cleared whatever was on this land for that. If I accidentally did it in a forest, it would clear off the forest. Clearing forest does not generate production for you. This is not Civilization where you're getting your hammers from forest. Clearing forest is purely just aesthetics to get the forest out of the way, and so it doesn't create movement penalties. But for the most part, I like to leave my forest unless I need to move them. So we're done building. We're going to let that cleric get built, and after that cleric is built, we are going to build a crystal foundry here. Now, what that does is if I say had my borders over here and was able to build this crystal foundry, it's not connected to my city, so nearby wandering monsters or marauding armies can come over here and raise that down, and I will stop getting it. But since after this cleric is built, this will be right adjacent to my city, these walls will extend around it, and it will become part of my city. And when this crystal quarry is done being completed, I can build past it. So after I get the cleric and the crystal quarry, I will be able to start building a logging camp on the other side of the quarry. And the last thing I need to do before I progress my turn is research. I have 3 categories: civilization, warfare, and magic. And as you see right now, it'll take me quite a while to get any research done. Warfare is in the hundreds. Shard harvesting, civics, knowledge, and restoration are the only 3 that are in a reasonable amount. Civics is one of my favorite ones to go for early because it gives me an option besides building and training units, which is producing wealth for my construction queues. It also gives me access to the bell tower, which lowers unrest. So we're going civics. Knowledge is another good one because it gives you the study. But we're going to go civics. And it says it will take 52 seasons. That will go down before 52 seasons have gone by. And that is the end of my first turn. Now you got to be kind of careful if you're used to WASD to pan the camera. Those keys are used for other things. You want to pan the camera, use the mouse or the arrow keys. You cannot change the keybinds in this game. They are preset. But S selects your sovereign. D brings up the detail page. A is end turn. If you accidentally hit A trying to move the map, you probably just skipped your turn. So that's another thing to be careful about. So we're going to check out this shattered statue. A shattered statue lies on the ground. A statue of Darien the Founder, namesake of his line, first king of fabled Antheros, bearing the twin swords with which he vanquished the armies of the Quindar. Beneath the feet of the once great warrior, you find a valuable item. Growth Potion. The liquid changes in volume, at times filling barely half of the bottle, and at others threatening to burst out. Drink it to gain plus 50% to attack and minus 20 to dodge. Alright, now we need to do some scouting for a good place for another city. Let's check this way just a little bit. Okay, now this icon is a monster lair. Monsters will start with armies on this. More armies will generate and become wandering monsters wandering the countryside. They will even attack cities. So you want to clear out these layers. Clearing out the layers, much like this treasure, will give me loot. It will also give me fame. But this is a pretty large army, and I am by myself. So I would probably lose this fight. And you don't want to end your turn adjacent to monsters, because more than likely after you click end turn, they're going to jump you. But we do see more greenery that way, so I do want to go past them, but we'll wait here a turn. Alright, so now I have my full movement. I should be able to get past them. We have a cave bear in a lair over there. We have a bandit camp. More crystal around here. Lots of crystal around here. wolf's den. And I do not see another place to play. Oh, I see a border up that way. We'll go investigate that next turn. The Bindami Fissure. Your scouts have led you to the edge of an impassable crevasse. A crack in the earth a mile wide. A crack long enough that you cannot see its end. A formidable barrier to your progress. But what lurks inside is more formidable still. This is the dwelling place of Abiex, one of the elemental lords of old. In the days before the coming of men and the Titans, his kind ruled the world. Now his domain is shrunk to encompass only the chasm before you. For a moment your heart aches for this fallen god and his plight. Yet you know if you can defeat Abiex and his creatures, this territory will be yours. So that gives me a quest, defeat Abiex who dwells beneath. And this area is going to be full of real nasty creatures. This is one of the wildlands. And as you can see from the border, it extends quite a ways that way. Yes, the Bindamni Fissure is going to be a stopping point this way, but I just wanted to check it out. And we found another spot for a city, but it has no essence. Hopefully there's another one further up that does. Let's change our camera to this one. I like this one more than the angled view. The 1 switches back to this, 2 goes to this view, 3 zooms out, and 4 takes you really zoomed out to where it becomes a paper map, which is really cool. I do like the paper map transition. Alright, so back to default number 2. Let's see. We'll just move along the fissure. Lots of armies over here. Yes, there is some essence up this way. Okay, not spectacular. I have a choice of 3 areas. A 3-1, a 3-3, and a 4-3. I'd like essence, so I'd probably go for the 3-1. A 3-3-1. But I did at least find a spot to build another city. Now, I will build a new pioneer when this one reaches level 2, which will be in about 5 seasons. I can start building one. Now I could build it now, but that's just going to delay how long until the city levels up. And the city leveling up matters. You'll see why in a bit. Alright, the construction was completed on the Cleric. It is now working on the crystal quarry. Another city location up this way. Hopefully there's more up here with more essence. Now for the most part you are stuck with being able to place cities where you can. However, when you research sorcery, you gain the access to a spell called Birth of Summer. Revive the land and create a new city site. So I will eventually get access to the ability to create new city sites, but it's going to take a while. No essence at any of these places so far. Nope. We'll go ahead and grab this Lost Battleground treasure in a second. Another icon over here. This is a quest location. That's what the quest on the map looked like. This is a strong quest. I can't handle it right now. I could go ahead and pick it up, so that the AI or the computer-controlled factions can't steal it, but I'm not that worried about it, honestly. I have access eventually to quest scroll maps, so I will be able to generate more. Speaking of which, let's see where those are. There it is. Brion's Letters, under the Magic tab, will give me access to the quest scroll, or quest map. Alright, so these hills, half movement. So that would put me ending my turn next to the Banished Ogres. We're not going to do that. We're going to cross over these hills. Oh, another city location. And wait right here, I think, so that we can hop up onto here to get the Lost Battleground and get off. We'll do that next turn. And here, when your settlement levels, it starts out as a village. When your settlement levels to level 2, you choose which of 3 paths you want to go down. Conclave enables conclave improvements and increases research. Fortress enables fortress improvements and increases the level of units trained here by 1. Select this to dedicate your city to defense and military pursuits. And Town enables town improvements and increases zone of control by 1. Select this to dedicate your city to growth and financial pursuits. So towns improve Gildar more than anything else. Fortresses improve production. Conclaves improve research. Now, conclaves have a lot of buildings that depend upon the amount of essence in the town. Fortresses also, essence in the town matters because that's how many enchantments you can put on, and a lot of the city enchantments boost units trained in the city. Now this has 2 essence, so it's good enough to be a fortress if I want it to be. It's not the best fortress, but it would be a good place to put as a fortress. So that's what I'm going to do. And the fortress devotes the city to military and defense. Fortresses have better production than other city types. Use them to build advanced troops and defend your borders. So Attica is going to be a fortress. Now that immediately gives me access to new building types. The Forge. Units trained here have 2 extra defense. The Training Yard. Units trained here have 10 extra accuracy and are 10% cheaper to build. And you can see a lot of the bonuses you have. Click Done. On this one, it'll say bonuses to trained units. Right now, I just get 2 extra starting level. But we have 2 enchantment slots here. And the reason that they matter for a fortress, you have spells like Aura of Grace. All units trained in this city are +1 initiative per essence. So if I cast it here, they would have +2 initiative because there's only 2 essence here. Heart of Fire, units trained in this city get 1 fire attack per essence, but it increases the unrest in the city by 5%. And most of the city enchantments depend on the amount of essence you have. So yeah, this isn't the best place for a fortress. You really want 3 to 4 if you can get lucky enough to find it. 3 is about average. I think 4 is probably one of the best sites I've seen. But yeah, you want more essence, at least 2 for a fortress or a enclave. But towns, you can ignore the essence for the most part, because the only thing that the essence matters for a town really is for how many spells you can cast to buff the town. Alright, so now that we've got this set up, it's going to have the Crystal Quarry next turn. But this is why leveling up mattered. Now I got to choose a specialty and have access to more buildings. And this can actually get all the way up to level 3, but I will train a settler before I worry about that. I am going to build a lumber mill as soon as this quarry is done before I build a settler, because the lumber mill boosts production. The site of a long-forgotten battle from the time before this one, or perhaps a more recent struggle. Bits of bone dot the ground, though whether that bone belonged to man or fallen is difficult to tell. While walking through the debris of the ancient battle, you find an item. These books are awesome. Growing a Thicker Skin, another book of the Decalon. The 10 volumes of Esmir's journals, which he used to teach Persephone the arts of the Sovereign during the Long March. This one gives me +1 defense, and it is a permanent increase to my character. And we're going to read it. And now I still have 2 movement. We're going to go around this way. Because right here, I'd be in between the Black Widows and the Cave Bear. And we found more essence over here. It's weak, but it's essence. Yeah, not a great essence spot here. No essence over here. Just 1 right there. Alright, so now that we've finished the Crystal Quarry, because of the mod I have, the snaking mod, I can build a logging camp. Now, it can only be placed in forest. I'm actually going to place it down here in this withered forest. After we finish the logging camp, I believe I'm going to build a forge over on this side of town. But before I build the forge, after that logging camp is built, we are going to train a pioneer. Now that's immediately going to cost me, pioneers cost 30 population, immediately cost me the 30 population, but if I cancel it, I get it back. So boom, got my 30 population back. So we're going to train a pioneer, and we're going to have it in between the logging camp and the forge. Right now it'll be 6 seasons before it's built. I believe after I finish the logging camp, I'll probably knock 1 season off of this, so it'll end up being 5 total. Alright, let's head on up this way. Oh yes, we're getting into better areas over here. And you see how dark and wasted this area is? This is kind of the effect the Fallen have on things. Alright, the logging camp is completed. No, it did not knock a season off of the Pioneer, unfortunately. Alright, weak essence areas, but they're, I mean, it's more. Looks like the way I should expand. We got another lost battleground and an equipment cache over here. Some Black Widows. Yet more crystal. And some wargs. Alright, so this equipment cache, here lies a stack of crates bearing the insignia of the Free Riders, those fierce, unforgiving warriors who roam the wastelands, determined to bring order to chaos. A swift kick splinters the rotting wood crates. Hidden inside, you find a valuable item. A silver flute. This flute gleams with an inner light, and even the slightest wind causes music to whistle through it. Blow it to cause all enemies to lose their next turn unless they resist. And that destroys the flute. So it's a one-use item. Alright, I think I should start heading back toward, after I grab this lost battleground, I think I should start headed back to my capital. Studded collar. The collar works great. It's getting the monster to wear it that is hard. Use it to take control of an enemy beast until that is a unit that is within 1 tile range in tactical combat. So yeah, take control of targeted beast unless it resists. That's a pretty neat item to get pretty early on. And of course, these big nasty creatures are beasts, so are cave bears. Cave bear would be a nice one to get. But yeah, we're going to start headed back to our capital. We've explored far enough right now. Pioneer has been completed. We will send her out up toward a city site up this way. We want to get to that 331, I believe. Now this thing over at the left, if there's a green outline around a unit configuration, it hasn't moved yet. See, there would be 2 movement. Let's get into the forest here. And you can quick select armies from here. Let's go there. Because I like to have my view, make sure I'm not coming up, there wasn't anything off in the shadow I would end my turn near. Now this is going to be bad. Has 2 movement, it's 2 to enter the woods, so I would end up near these guys. So we are going to have to go around this way to bypass this cave bear and those bandits. Now, even if since the forest costs 2 movement points, or it halves my movement basically to enter, you can enter it when you've only got 1 movement point left. Yeah, I could go straight to here. Well, if it was next turn and I had movement, even though I've only got 3 movement points, that would be 2. I could still do that with my remainder. Oh, this monster lair is unoccupied. Whatever belonged there has wandered off. So I could loot the lair, and I think I'll try that next turn. Alright, construction has been completed on the forge. So now we are going to build a monument, which will improve our zone of control. Right here, I believe. And then we want to build the training yard down here. And we're going to go ahead and move up here. Now, your pioneers can either settle to create a city or create an outpost. Outpost you don't add to your unrest like cities do, but you don't gain a lot of resources from them. All they do is basically they're little areas with outlines that will extend your borders, so that you can, that's a way to connect distant cities, is to line the area in between with outposts. It also, if I can't build a city over here but I want these crystal crags, I could put an outpost down here and be able to harvest them for this city. The problem is outposts have no real defense. You have to have an army to basically defend them. Whereas by themselves, cities generate defenders. I have 3 militia and 1 archer in this fortress. But we are going to settle a new city here. Avalan. And we are going to cast meditation on it. Meditation will provide an extra mana per turn. Now the unrest in this city is pretty large, now that I have 2 cities and the territory is not contiguous to the capital. So it's going to take a while to really develop much here, but the first thing we're going to build is a Cleric. Now, where do we want to build it? Well, we're eventually going to want to get these horses. So let's build down this way. Alright, so let's hop in here and get this crystal crag, an outcrop of glistening minerals beyond which a dark cavern beckons. Searching the area, you find a valuable item. Flickering Ring. This ring sometimes appears on different fingers, or even the other hand from the one the wearer put it on. Allows the unit to cast Blink. Oh, we're going to equip that. Your fame has grown far and wide, attracting legendary heroes to your cause. But only one will join your service. So I reached the first fame milestone, which was 3. It attracts 2 heroes, and I choose between one of them. These are both no unit specialization. They're level 1s. They haven't leveled up yet. Otholo is Altarian. He has Revenge as an ability and Fire Apprentice. One great find, and I can rest my tired feet for good. Ariel is Amarian. Their ability is they get a bonus based on the number of shards I control, and each shard gives different bonuses. Air shards give dodge, fire shards give initiative. They also have a soul spark ability where they can do a little bit of lightning damage without a weapon. And he has access to life magic. All units trained in this city are +1 hit point per essence. Defending units start with regeneration, and he can heal. Pain and injury flee from my touch like shadows before the dawn. Allow my service, and I will restore your strength and your men. We're going to get Ariel. Where is he? There he is. Why did you pop up way back here next to a cave bear? Alright, so let's get out of this lair. And let's have Ariel meet up with me. And let's check Ariel out. Please step back or you will muddy my boots. Okay then, buddy. So yeah, he can cast Aura Vitality, Heal, Regeneration, Courage, Sovereign's Call, and Glyph of Life. Sovereign's Call improves the growth of a city. You know what? I'm not getting any benefit right now, even though I spent the... Actually, I'm about to get benefit. Now that I have another unit that has wages... See, it costs nothing to keep the Sovereign, but I actually have a wage cost for Ariel. We're actually going to up our taxes to low. So this Gildar, should be earning, yeah, I'm only earning 1. I'm still losing 0.3 Gildar a season, but that will go up as we build more buildings and increase the levels of our towns. But yeah, now I have 2 units traveling around. Oh, and I forgot to finish looking at Ariel. He has a quarterstaff. It's a 2-handed weapon. Weak attack, but he has a weapon. He also has a Wellspring Scroll that heals all allies 12 hit points plus a 4 additional per life shard I control. Let's trade him the Silver Flute. Now this shard is a life shard. Go imagine that. Now normally I would like to limit the game to 5-year uploads. Those are about 20 seasons. And of course I will be cutting out a lot of the pointless stuff, like just me moving around or planning things and stuff like that, unless I have something valuable to say, just like I do for my Stellaris uploads. There are a few features I'd like to touch on before I end this episode, though. That is combat and unit design. So I can't really do anything else this turn, so we're just going to advance until next turn. There went some monsters wandering around. The Earth Elementals abandoned their sanctum. I might be able to sneak in and clear that out. Let's see if I can get in position to do that. If they don't come back, I can jump in there and clear out their sanctum next turn. Nearby life shard is now within our zone of control. So our borders have extended to there. But we don't have the technology to get the life shard yet. Let's keep an eye on these elementals. They did not move back. Unfortunate for them. Here stands a clearing surrounded by a ring of dead trees. In the center of that ring, standing knee-deep in the deep-fetid loam of the forest, waits a creature out of legend. Hidden amongst the stones, you find an item. Letter of mark. Using this letter will summon a mercenary to your group. Summons a mercenary. I could use another unit. Yeah, let's use that. We have Wallace. These are soldiers for hire, mercenaries, raised as such in Spartan conditions in the wildlands. The Vandal are expert fighters and travel where and when they please along the world's byways. They take their name from their founder, Eric Vandal, who was once prince of the free city of Valgana. Now he has a low wage, only 0.1. It looks like he is decked out. He's got throwing knives, he's got a chain shirt, and a broadsword. Oh, this guy's really good. And he's level 6, whereas I'm just level 1. He has endurance, extra hit points per level, and can wear chainmail. Nice! Alright, Wallace. I'm glad I raided that little Earth Elementals army. Alright, this icon means that there are multiple armies in that location. So there are 3 armies. Now if I were to attack that, I would only attack the top army. Only 2 armies can be involved in combat. They don't add in. So they have an Ophidian army, a single Ophidian, and an Earth Shrill army in that area. Alright, so we're going to get the hell out of here now. Hopefully those Earth Elementals aren't truly annoyed with us. And I think with Eric on our side, Wallace on our side, Eric was the founder of the Vandals. With Wallace on our side, we might be able to handle a cave bear. Yeah, our army is listed as medium now. I think we can handle a cave bear. And I think we will handle both of these cave bears, but we'll start with this one. Oh, and Attica completed its monument, which will expand my borders next season another area. Boom. And you see all of these trees that used to be dead, as my borders expand, they become vibrant woods again. And all of this brown wasteland is becoming green again. I really do like that effect for the kingdom. The empires kind of twist lands like this. This is the way lands start to look in an empire's borders. Alright, so we are going to go up here to deal with that cave bear. And I'm actually going to end up parking next to it, because if it attacks me, I'm planning on attacking it anyway. But if you end your turn next to a monster unit, after you end turn, sometimes they will attack you. Now, another great thing about this game is the history they have for just about every type of creature in there. And you don't have to just find a creature to do it. They have all of that information.
Acquire items, much like your...
Shut up. They have all of that information here when you actually look at the mobs. Obiex, he who dwells beneath. Oh, he's a giant worm. Glory to any champion that is able to defeat Obiex. In times of old, he was one of the five, the elemental lords worshipped by the peoples of Anthuana. But the coming of the Titans weakened his power and his followers' number, and the cataclysm, some say, drove him mad. Now he waits beneath the world, guardian of the Benadmi, and the Binmuna, ready to fight any and all who would invade his domain. Know that few weapons can damage his armored hide, few fighters can survive his acidic spittle. Alright, he has a buttload of hit points, a huge attack, and a huge defense. Now, as you can see, attack is how much damage you potentially deal. Defense reduces damage, so to compare. So if he went to swing at himself, or basically a clone of him attacked him, he would effectively have an attack of 5 and do very little damage. With that high defense, I'd be doing maybe 1 point per swing, a lot of times nothing. That's a fairly low initiative. He is monstrous, cannot be knocked prone, spits acid, 4 to 9 damage a round for 20 rounds. Ouch. He triggers a fear effect when combat begins. He's immune to poison. His attack damage is multiplied by the members of the defending group. And he does splash damage with his uncontrolled rage. Yeah, it's going to be a while before I can take him out. Yeah, good to know. But the cave bear, yeah, we can sit here and read its history anytime you want to. You don't have to locate a cave bear, and you can also see their abilities. Cave bears can't be knocked prone. They're resistant to cold, and they have a maul ability. Bears are nasty in this game. The way maul works, after they attack, if they don't miss, they immediately attack again with a minus 15% to accuracy that accumulates. And they will keep swinging, keep getting that minus 15% until they finally miss. So on a good roll, a bear can take a fresh unit with a lot of hit points and wear it down in one attack. It can get ugly, which we might actually see in this fight. Okay, they did not attack me. I'm going to attack him. This could be an ugly fight. And I do not care for the auto-resolve. Alright, so combat. At the bottom of the screen is whose turn it currently is. And then this is the initiative order. So it'll be me, Wallace, the cave bear, Ariel, me again, Wallace again, the cave bear, Ariel, and keep going on up like that. But I have a high enough initiative. After that, it's me, Wallace, me again, before the cave bear. You can highlight over a mob to see when it's going to go. So the cave bear is going to go right after me and Wallace. I'm going to move on up to it. Now, if I use my rush ability, basically you move and then can act. You can't do it in any other order. You have to move first and then act. Now, I could choose not to go anywhere and just act now, but I can't move after I act. So I get to move and then act. And if I couldn't reach something and wanted to use my rush ability, it would remove my next order in the initiative and immediately let me act again. That's the way anything that says take an extra action works. You basically give up your next turn to go immediate. But I'm going to move up here, and I am going to attempt to tame this cave bear. It has a 33% chance to resist. I have a cave bear. Now you can go to details, and it will show you what all happened in text during the course of the fight. Ariel cast Noble Legacy on himself. Lord Relias cast Tame on Cave Bear. The attacking forces are victorious. It'll also tell you damage by damage, like when you attacked and how much damage you did. which is kind of neat summary of the thing. And you can see these details if you auto-resolve, I believe, to see how the auto-resolution went. So we gained some experience, and I have a cave bear. That is huge! Native to the high mountain reaches, the cave bear is one of the largest and deadliest creatures in all of the world. Some believe these animals evolved naturally. Others believe that they were bred by Morrigan in the depths of Nait Vaganesh. Despite, or perhaps because of, their size, there are numerous recorded instances of these bears being trapped when young and subsequently raised as servants. They are quite trainable, albeit very destructive. Yes! Alright, so I'm out of moves, so I can't clear their den this turn. And that really didn't showcase combat, did it? Fallen trees, trampled brush. All at once, an animal charges from the forest. You find an item buried in fragments of bones from the bear's last victim. Oh, another book. From Tents to Thrones. From Esmir's Decalon, this volume contains numerous extracts regarding the formation of the Empire of Hallis, taken from the diaries of Josrin the Elder. Given the length of these extracts, many believe that Esmir copied them directly from a no longer extant collection of those documents. Reading this will give me 20 experience. I'm going to use it. When you first level up a champion, or your sovereign, you have to choose one path to follow, and that will be stuck. You'll be stuck with that for the rest of the game. Later on, when I attract higher level champions, they will already have pre-selected a path. So the paths are Assassin, Masters of fast attacks that debilitate, ignore defense, or kill outright, Defender, resilient to attack and an unfaltering wall between their enemies and their allies, Commander, a commander's strength is in the armies and cities they serve, Mage, others may use spells, but none with the proficiency of a true mage, Warrior, master of weapons and the brutal art of battle. Well, considering this guy's intro, that it said that he had been sent into the east and found some horror there, the channelers, and he believed that we needed to band together to go fight them, and he felt that he was going to have to be the one to lead them. He is going to be a military type general, so I'm going to make him a commander, and unlocking it will give me access to traits that improve economy and growth, and immediately it adds another 15% reduction to unrest in the city that he goes to. So we're going to choose commander, and we're going to move back here. Now, if I pass through this city, or if I station in this city for a little bit, it will reduce the unrest. Right now it's at 34% because the territory is not contiguous. Once I step into it, I'll drop it to 0, pretty much, because I do 10% for being the sovereign, another 15 for being a commander, so that's 25. There'll be 5% more for the other champion with me. Yeah, so that'll just about drop it to 0. It'll be 4%. Well, when the Cleric is built, it will be 0%. So yeah, let's move into the city. Yeah, now it's 4%. When the Cleric is built, it will become 0. But we're actually going to keep moving past this city to go to the other cave bear den so I can actually show you combat. Holy crap, what is that? Air elementals. More earth elementals. Yeah, this is a nasty place to be next to, I just realized. We're going to move here. If this cave bear attacks me, I'm planning on attacking it anyway. Fair weather to you, Lord Relias. We here in Gildan have heard much of the hard, honest work you've done bringing order to the land. Continue that work and you'll have faithful friends among the Iron Ears. Pleasure to meet you, Lord Markin. Where did I see him? I don't see them. He must be one tile away from me or have moved on past with a scout. Alright, let's contact Gildan here. Well, first let's go to the Govern tab and go to Foreign Relations. Kingdom of Gildan. The people of Gildan are the Iron Ears, descendants of the Iron Tribes who were the first to master the art of shaping metal. In the days of the Magi clans, the Ivernach forged the Swords of Mastery, legendary weapons still prized by man and fallen alike. In those isolated pockets of civilization reclaimed from the wilderness, a skilled few still toil in the ancient craft their forebears mastered. They seek a leader to help them reclaim the land and their pride. So Lord Markin is greedy. He's more likely to construct wealth-based improvements. He is paranoid, so he's more likely to construct defensive improvements. He thinks everyone's out to get him, so that's a penalty to diplomacy right there. He is impressed by me. They're still settling, so they're more likely to be peaceful. We have the same allegiance, and I am beyond his sphere of influence. What that means is I am far away from him. And it's actually a penalty for him because the farther I am away from him, the less he is interested in being an ally. But we are going to speak to him. And we are going to propose a non-aggression pact. Now this value over here is what they feel it's worth. With a perceived value of 5, he will accept this offer. And I could actually get some gold out of him to keep him doing it. But I prefer, I'm not greedy. I don't need to grab his money. I don't prefer to do quid pro quo so much. I'm trying to be friendly. And the higher perceived value of the trade, I think the more it is going to boost our diplomacy. Right now we're neutral. And that will change next season now that we have a non-aggression pact. Alright, he has a 63 population, I have an 80. We both have 2 settlements, but he's making more money than me. My power rating is a little higher than his. But we found our first other faction. And now, let's see, our Cleric is completed. Let's build... We actually have a tax rate now. Let's build a merchant, because we are losing a little bit of income. So we'll build a merchant right next to the Cleric. After it's built, we will probably build the monument. Now the Tower of Dominion and the Tower of Knowledge, you can only have one in your entire faction. Tower of Dominion negates unrest penalty from amount of cities. Tower of Knowledge gives you research based on the essence of the town it is built in. So you want to save that for one with at least 3, preferably 4 or more. Tower of Dominion, you want to put in a city. It also adds to the growth. You want to put in a city that you really want to make sure the unrest stays low. I might build that in my capital, honestly. We also completed the training yard over here. So we actually have more we can build. We can build a merchant here as well. And we will put it right over here near the crystal quarry, but not right up against the town. And I think we will build the Tower of Dominion here. The unrest here is +6 because of the city count. That'll remove that entirely. And I won't have to worry about when I spam out extra cities. So I think we will put the Tower of Dominion. We'll put it over in the corner here, I think. And another detail I really like, if you zoom in on the town, you can see people. Yeah, like right here in the training yard. You can see the people lined up over here. This person's inspecting where the arrow went. Over here in the forge, you see people negotiating with the blacksmith. In the town itself, you can see people wandering around in the horse. Now where I have set up construction, you can see people working to build it. People over here chopping down the trees in the lumber camp. Oh yeah, it's just so neat. A little bit of the minor details they added in. Alright, so we've done all of that. Make sure I click done so I'm not randomly building a building. Let's do this battle. Cave Bear versus Cave Bear ought to be interesting. Alright, that shield icon means they're in guard mode, so they actually have better defense. Unfortunately, where it has my damn microphone and recording icon is covering up the damn stats where the defense would be. It looks like it says 3, but it might be higher. Let's see. Cave Bear has 8 defense. Yeah, 3 is their base defense. But it has 8 because it's defending. There it is, active effects defending. So it has 8 defense. And I only have 8 attack, so I'm not going to be doing much to it. So we're going to move up here. I can actually blink and teleport to any location. Every 3 turns. But we are going to pass. That'll put us in guard mode as well. So we got the shield above our head. Wallace will move over here and also pass. And there's where the Cave Bear gets nasty. Wallace died really freaking quick, even though he was guarding. He did get 1 counterattack off. Crap. That hurt. I didn't even get a chance to heal him. Alright, so we'll move over here with Ariel. And attack with our little crappy quarterstaff. For 2 damage. Now our bear will take on their bear. So we lost Wallace, which kind of sucks. Wallace was a very good unit. We lost Wallace, but we did defeat the Cave Bear. Now, did we get Wallace's items? No, because he wasn't a champion, actually. He was just a unit that had those equipped. I would have liked to have had his sword. Oh well. So that did suck, losing Wallace, but so be it. Let's clear out this Cave Bear den. Brood Vambraces. Edges as sharp as an axe make this Vambrace more deadly than defensive. Adds 1 defense, but also adds 2 to my physical attack bonus. And one of the things that's really neat is you see how it changes on my character model. Let's zoom in. And let's equip those again. You can actually see it on the world map, on the character model. The details in this game are just so neat. Even if the graphics aren't truly amazing. I mean, the game did come out 10 years ago. But the details they went into, this was such an amazing game. And it's got such awesome gameplay to me. Ah, there is Gildan. They've got some scouts. Now that's actually 1 unit of scouts. When you go to train units, most units you train in a party of 3 troops later on you can make groups, squads, and companies. So these militia would actually be a party of 3 militia. If we go to design units, which is another thing I wanted to show off, you start with 3 designs. The militia, which is just a general defender type that uses a club. And club weapons have a bash attack. They have a chance equal to the damage done of knocking the victim prone. That means they'll miss their next turn standing up. They also give you an ability called Crushing Blow, which as you build up stamina in combat, you could use a Crushing Blow that will give extra attack rating based on your stamina. Explorers start with Scout, so they have no terrain penalties, and they have more sight range. But they are weak, but they do have Iron Skin that adds extra defense. And they use staves. Spearmen, they're set up to, I believe, eventually get armor. They start with whatever armor you have access to, and they use spears. Now, spears make you immune to counterattack and ignore a third of the victim's defense. And they give you an ability called Impale that allows you to strike an opponent and whatever is behind them. Now, that Impale ability, if you target an ally with it, you don't attack the ally, but you can attack through their square and hit this one past it. So you can have spearmen on the back rank fighting through your sword and shield users who are holding the line and stabbing people in front of them, which is kind of neat. But usually you start with like 1 stamina, and every turn your stamina will build up as you gain turns, and you use that stamina to spend actions or to use abilities. But right here at the militia, you see it has a cost of 20. That's for this one individual troop. When I go to build, this militia actually costs 58 because it is a party of 3 of them. 3 times the 20 would be about 60. It's actually not a full 20. It's like 19 and a decimal place, so it comes out to be 58. But yeah, explorers, spearmen, and militia. Now, if I want to, I prefer to design my own troops. And when you design a troop and save it, it saves it on your hard drive. So in my next playthrough, any units I design will be showing up. So before I started this playthrough, I went onto my my games folder in my documents for legendary heroes and deleted all the unit designs I had. Otherwise, this list would be absolutely cluttered. But yeah, if we make a new one, you have a lot of control over this, especially when you get to henchmen. There are male and female henchmen. You can design these units to choose to use a specific weapon or to have the upgradable class of weapons so that when I find a better club, it'll replace. You can do the same for armor. Even though I don't have access to shields, I can say this unit will get a shield when I get access to them. You can equip accessories. Right now I only have the Belt of Speed, but it costs crystals to equip a unit with it. You can design the way the unit looks without armor. You know, the hairstyle, beard, change the color, change what outfits they are wearing. You can do a lot of customization to the appearance of a unit. And you can assign them traits. Now, they only have slots for 3 traits. But yeah, I can create my own scout and say make them stealthy so monsters are less likely to attack them, and give them ambush so that they're really good at the start of fight. Now let's go to armor. We want them to eventually have leather. So we're going to go ahead and have them upgradable in all of these areas except shields. A spear is two-handed, so I cannot use a shield and a spear. So there we go. We've got them with the potential to get upgraded. As far as weapons, we are going to go with upgrading their spear. And as far as other, let's give them a ponytail. Let's give them dark brown hair. This beard and mustache. Yeah, I like that one. As far as shirts, we will go with Well, the shirt really won't show because of the breastplate, but still, I want to give them... Where's Dark Warrior's shirt? I don't want shoddy. There we go. Warrior shirt, dark. We want to give them a dark vest. We want to give them the dark bard cloak. Or maybe the dark Yorin. Dark Yorin. Dark Kingdom leather gloves. Dark Yorin boots. And dark basic pants. Now if I go back to armor and take off their gloves, we see how the dark gloves would look. Take off their cloak, we see how the cloak would look. Take off their breastplate, we see how their dark tunic and stuff would look. And take off the boots, and you see these little fur-lined boots. So yeah, there we go. We've got their traits and everything, so we're going to save this unit. And now we get to choose a name, a pose, a background, and all of this will matter when we look at the unit and also for the thumbnail. So we want this to be a hunter. And the pose we want them crouched like they're looking for tracks, maybe. That one. Yeah, crouched like that, like they're looking for tracks. And I do kind of like the background it already has of the snowy terrain with the forest, but we could choose other backgrounds if we wanted. Where would, we'd want some sort of forested background for them, of course. That only moved like one. That. There. Background with the forest. That looks good. And now we have the hunter. And right now, once I get leather armor, it should upgrade all of their armor to be leather when they're produced. When I find much better spears, it'll upgrade their spear. But this is a good unit because they can scout, they can ambush, and they're stealthy. You know, it's more expensive than the Explorer. The Explorer is 31, whereas the Hunter is 45. But yeah, the Hunter would be a pretty good scouting unit, so that's one I like to make. I usually like to improve my Spearmen for town defense. Let's go ahead and make that unit as well. Let's, they're going to have the upgraded spear. Let's go ahead and go to other and see how do I want them. Let's give them a dark flat cap. Let's keep them clean shaven. Just with that 5 o'clock shadow look they got going there. These are all robes. We want to give them a warrior shirt. There we go. A light warrior shirt. There we go. Surcoat wise, we'll do a dark surcoat, maybe? No, not the Corrodius war coat. Not the noble surcoat. Yeah, let's just do a no, we want to be able to see their... Yeah, we won't do a surcoat. We want to be able to see this tunic. No cloak for them. We'll do dark kingdom leather gloves. Light basic pants. And dark boots. Maybe dark warrior's boots? Yes, dark warrior's boots. All right, now we are going to get rid of some of that when we start giving them the armor. We're actually not going to give them cloaks. Oh, no, we did shield, so it took away their spear. Do we want to give them a soldier's cloak, maybe? Because the upgradable cloak will automatically pick the Arctic Wolf Cloak, which gives defense and cold resist. But I kind of like the soldier's cloak for the look. Maybe we just don't give them cloaks. And let's give them an upgradable spear. As far as traits, we are going to give them Defender. They get a bonus to defense when defending. We are going to give them Discipline, which gives them a bonus to accuracy every level. And we are going to give them Veteran. No. We are going to give them Chainmail proficiency. Now, even though I can't make Chainmail now, if I don't give them Chainmail proficiency when I create them, if I want to make this unit with Chainmail, I will have to recreate the unit entirely and cannot upgrade existing units into it. So we're going to give them Chainmail proficiency so that later on they will have the Chainmail. And this is going to be our Sentinel. These are going to be the basic defenders of our towns. We're going to have like a Sentinel parked in every town to supplement the militia. And let's see, what pose do we want? Yeah, standing there with his arms crossed, holding it. And for the background, we want the city. That right there. So, standing in front of the city, our Sentinel. Later on, he will have leather armor replacing what he's got. But that's going to be our basic town defender, is the Sentinel. So we are not going to use their spearmen. We have our own Sentinel that has traits that I want. Now that makes him a little more expensive, 43 as opposed to 37. Their icons are fairly similar, I just noticed. The spearman also has his arms crossed like that. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, and you can actually hide their default designs. I can do hide on their spearman, hide on their militia, hide on their explorer. So it's only showing the designs I have. And if I want to use one of their pre-made designs, I can always unhide them. But yeah, now we have sentinels we can turn out to defend our towns. And of course the hunter, which is are going to be our scout units. Now let's see, where do I want to go? I could go up here. Yeah, I think I'll go back up here. Because I don't know, can I clear out? Yeah, I could clear out the Bandit Archers. And there's a bandit army wandering toward my town anyway. So let's go hit them. They have 2 bandits and a wolf. This should be a fairly easy battle. Now, I get to go, then Ariel, then the cave bear, then the wolf. The wolf has a counter-attack ability. If I attack it and don't kill it, it gets to swing back. But then anybody else won't suffer the counterattack. I can kill it with my minimum damage. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the wolf. I'm going to move here so that I can give a flank bonus to anybody who goes after him. Take out that wolf. And then I will have Ariel move up here to work on this bandit. Actually, I'll have him move up here. Now, the way flanking bonuses work, they call them swarm bonuses. Each adjacent ally is giving me a little bit of bonus to my attack rating, so I will do more damage. And it's kind of cool because you get to see him animate in support. There, we saw him swing as well as my guy. Alright, now the bear is going to go for the fresh one. Alright, he did a little bit of damage to him. And I knocked the crap out of him. Now, one thing I want to turn off... Yeah, now here if you look at details, Wolf was hit by Lord Relias's attack for 4 damage. Bandit was hit for 2. Bandit was hit for the cave bear. Bandit falls. Attacking forces are victorious. So overall, I took 4 points of damage. And Ariel and Lord Relias each gained a level. So Lord Relias you can spend points in this general tab, and the bottom one is based on your faction. Altarians get ambush and halt. I could upgrade my fire magic, or I could go to my commander traits and start working here. And I like going down this leadership line to tactician and finally battle cry as quickly as possible. And these are cumulative. So the first one gives 5 to the army's accuracy. The next one gives 10, so overall we'll get 15. This one gives another 15, which makes it 30. And this one gives another 20, which makes it 50 to our accuracy. Now Ariel gets to choose a path. And I think I'm going to make Ariel a mage. This reduces his cost for tactical spells by 25% right off the bat. And now that we've cleared out those bandits, I think I'm going to park right next to these because we're going after them next. A message from Rezelin. Stravni, Lord Relias of Altar, greetings in the language of our people. Your kingdom is strong, yet surely you know Eldrana's prophecy. It is Empire of Rezelin whose rise he foretold long ago. To be first among all nations. That is our destiny, not yours. I am hopeful that the kingdoms and empires can have peace. Where is the Rezelin scout? Must not be on the screen yet. Alright, so we will go to Foreign Relations for Rezelin. And now, here on Gildan, we have the treaties together is another +1. So we are slowly going to be gaining progress. Rezelin. The people of Rezelin are called wraiths by some, monsters by others. They are neither man nor fallen, but creatures of dark sorcery and magic, transformed by the spell that gave Cerisa power. They are bound to her by that spell, a bond that cannot be broken by even the most powerful of enchanters. So Oracle Cerisa is the leader. She is unstable, difficult to conduct diplomacy with, and she is a sorcerer, more likely to research magic texts. She just doesn't like me. We are still settling, but we have a different allegiance. Now she also gets another random modifier that can be positive or negative because she is insane. So the ability to, that's where the unstable comes in. Now let's go ahead and try, yeah, she'll do a non-aggression pact. Let's do a non-aggression pact. We'll be friendly. Athica completed its merchant. Now it's working on the Tower of Dominion. And then I think I will go ahead and build the hedge wall before I start churning out units. Now the hedge wall will be visible all around my territory. Let's take on these bandits. Bandit Archer. There are 3 archers, a party of 3 bandits, and then 2 wolves. I think we can handle them. Alright, let's go up here and take out this wolf. It's kind of funny how it dies before I even animate my swing. That reminds me, can I access options from here? I can toggle the grid on and off. You can auto-resolve if you get tired of the combat, by the way. Let's move up here. And I think I can take out that wolf. No, I'll do 0 to 1 damage. We'll work on this guy. I'll move over here and work on this group. Alright, let's move over here and get one of these archers before they can fire. Yeah, they're all gonna gang fire on Ariel there. Alright, what can he do? Counterspell, heal. Back up 1 space and heal yourself. I'm going to take out that wolf. And then I'm going to keep working on this archer. Now Ariel can move forward. And he can do his soul spark. He has enough stamina now. Yeah, the stamina builds up. That's that blue bar underneath. Every turn you get stamina. So I could do 4 lightning damage to a target. At what range? Yeah, I can hit him all the way over there. Have the bear go after the fresh one. Yeah, my stamina bar built up quite far during that, but I didn't really have a need to spend any. So he actually ended up healing during this fight. And we cleaned out the bandits. So now we are going to clean out the bandit camp. A gathering of barely civilized thieves, their booty, lumber stolen from mills, bolts of cloth from passing caravans, racks of game taken from lone hunters, lies scattered around them. In the remains of the bandit camp you find an item. Now clearing lairs is fame points. That's one way to build up fame. The other way is quests, and there are certain constructions that do it. Every cleric I build is 2 fame, for example. A rare type of mushroom that works wonders for world-weary traveler. Eat it to heal. So this will heal 8 hit points. I can carry it around and eat it when I need to. And we'll probably see about taking out those widows. I'm going to stay where I am. I don't want to end up adjacent to this strong air elemental army. And the air elementals look like they're making a beeline for my frickin' city. Let's go over here. Alright, so we have a wolf over there. We could definitely handle them. I think we could handle the Black Widow's army. It's got 2 Black Widows and a Brood Hunter. I think we can handle them. Construction completed on my merchant in Avalon. Now I need... The monument is the only building I need. Now buildings don't really... unless they specifically say, don't have an upkeep. All it takes is production time to build them. So yeah, we'll build a monument right over here. I did not mean to build that. That's what I was talking about. I was trying to click done. Clear that out. Thank you. Now, it did kind of level the terrain when I built that way, so that's no longer a hill. It's still a hill, but it doesn't look like it so much. I'm okay with that. All right, let's see about clearing out these Black Widows. Yeah, I think we can handle them. Famous last words. Alright, let's move up to here. And I'm going to cast Guardian Wind. That gives us a dodge versus range attacks. He's an archer. I think I don't want them ganging up on him very easily. So I'm just going to have him pass. And passing, as you see, also gained him some stamina. And my bear is going to start working on one of these. He only got one hit. Well, you're going to gang up on my bear? Alright, let's work on the wounded one. I will go ahead and heal the bear. And I think I'm going to have him go for the fresh one. Alright, he got webbed up. That means that he can't move, but I can still swing at somebody next to me, fool. I'm still webbed. It's my next action. But guess what? I can blink, bastard. Alright, have Ariel start moving forward. Oh, I can soul spark you. I'm still webbed. Just go ahead and... Actually, let's go ahead and rush, since I'm webbed anyway. The web only lasted so many of my turns. I can now move. It did use up my next action, but I'm okay with that. You're not going to make it away from us. Alright, there we go. We took them out. I'm out of movement. Next turn I will be able to clear out their lair. Unless Reslin or Gildan beats me to it. Alright, the spider was nesting over what you first assume is a clutch of spider eggs. When you cut away the webbing, you discover an item. It's another Wellspring Scroll. Let's trade it to him. Let him carry the healing stuff for the most part. And I didn't read the lair because I was rushing to grab it before they did. They've got a couple of scouts coming out this way. I hope these air elemental aren't planning on attacking my town. Can I make it into town? Not in one turn. We'll go there. So we're in our borders. Finish the Tower of Dominion. We're now building a hedge wall. Yeah, you can't get through there, my friend. We're going to go into our town, so we'll add to the defenses if it's attacked. Avalan has a monument. Not really anything else we can build. I don't want to put the Tower of Dominion here, and those elementals are getting a bit close. So we're off to training units at this point. Until Civics is completed in 4 seasons, that's all we can do, is either build or train units. So it would take 11 more seasons for this to hit level 2. I kind of want it to hit level 2 before I build a pioneer. So I guess we're going to build a hunt or train a hunter. Actually, no, let's train a sentinel to defend the town. Even though I would rather all of my units be trained at a fortress. That's all this place can do right now is train anyway. Yeah, we have earth elementals and air elementals wandering through our territory here. We might be able to take them out, but air elementals are a little annoying. They have a high dodge, they can't be counterattacked, and they're flying units. But yeah, they're annoying. Crow demons are with them. They can't be knocked prone. They have a Thunderstrike teleport ability. Yeah, these guys are a little bit nasty. They don't have much in the way of defense, though. And the Crow demons are kind of weak, but the Air Elemental itself is kind of nasty. Now, the Earth Elementals have high defense. It takes a long time to beat them down. You need to take them out with numbers, surround them, and swarm them to really beef your attack rating. Yeah, they can't be knocked prone. They have an overpower. Their attack damage is multiplied by the members of the defending group. That's where the party and company and all that come in. So that means if he attacks a party of 3, he's doing triple damage. It's nasty. They have a shockwave attack. They can throw boulders. They can slam. And they gain stamina whenever they're hit to fuel their abilities. Yeah, as my borders expand, getting life to the area is kind of neat. Now my borders can't expand this way because this is a wildlands that I have to defeat the boss in to start claiming the territory of. Oh, we got the wild game in our borders. I need animal husbandry to be able to harvest them. Okay, the air elementals left my territory, and we have research civics. Research in this area allows you to construct the bell tower and the inn improvement. You will learn to balance the needs of your citizens against your larger strategic goals. In ancient Coriopolis, all citizens were required to contribute 1/10 of their earnings to the city coffers, to be distributed as the Great Council saw fit. That's what my tax rate is, 10%. So the bell tower is an unrest-reducing building. The docks are an upgrade of the pier, and the inn is an upgrade of the well, which is a town-only structure. And now I can produce wealth. Alright, so next, I want to get shard harvesting, since I do have a life shard in my area. And I'm earning enough mana per turn. I think I should cast some spells on my units. Tutelage. Target unit gains experience at a faster rate. So we're going to cast that on Lord Relias. And on Ariel. So they'll both level up a little faster. I will be spending mana every season to maintain it. But at least the air elementals left my territory. 45 and 94. Yeah, the bear alone is pretty impressive in this army. I hope they wander on away. They're from the wildlands. Both of these are. Yeah, they came out of this area. I think I'm going to move back up to Avalan so that I can reduce the unrest there. I can get to there. Alright, there we go. Our hedge wall is complete. And actually, I should have come over here to clear out this bear den and this Black Widow army. Yeah, let's double back and pop up over here. Because traveling through all the way through the town is no movement. So that was 1, 2, free travel through the town, 3. So yeah, we need to clear out these 2 layers really close to our town. We completed the hedge wall, and as you see, it popped up all around my town. That's kind of neat. Now, after I get the life shard, or as I add more buildings, it won't update the wall unless I reload the game. Now I can build a bell tower here to reduce the unrest further. Right now it's at 8%. And we'll actually put the bell tower right here near the monument, close to, actually, right in between yeah, right there is perfect. And even though I'm over halfway done with this Sentinel, yeah, I'll go ahead and finish building it. But we need to get a bell tower going. So yeah, actually let's build a bell tower, and we're going to build it right here. That gets to where when we get the wild game, it will become part of the town. Yeah, let's actually push the bell tower before the Sentinel. I'm not that worried about the Sentinel. As a matter of fact, I don't have a problem getting rid of all of the effort I put into it. I'm actually going to prefer churning out the Sentinel over here in Athica. But I can go to train, and I think... Nope, it doesn't remember the progress. I thought it would remember the progress if I wanted to go back to it. I was mistaken about that. But that's fine. I don't really need the Sentinel that bad right now. And there, it's been another 5 years. We're 10 years into the game. 41 seasons. I lost a mercenary that was pretty good, but that's alright. We've got some invaders in our territory. We've got a Hergon sow making its way over here. Ugly little creature. But yeah, we're 10 years into the game, so we're going to call this an episode. If you're enjoying this series, please leave a like or comment down below. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.